there, it's Kevin with the Rogue Market here with an arbitrage opportunity for this particular product from the Bloomburrow starters. That's how I was going to preface this video until I actually looked at TCG Player and saw that this is no longer the case. In the past couple of days, these products have actually spiked up to where the cost of actually purchasing one of these is now going to be the cost of the cards contained. So what arbitrage is in this context for when we talk Magic the Gathering or TCGs and sealed product is when you can actually open up the sealed product and typically you know the value within that. So there's not any sort of expected value. So it's box sets of cards that contain a certain amount of cards at a certain price. Open it up, flip the cards, and make a profit. So this was the case. This was actually brought to my attention by one of my patrons, seeing if I could still get these starter kits, because the two mythics out of this kit, or this starter kit, actually sold for double the amount of what it cost to purchase the starter kit. So what we're talking about is Bloomburrow starters, and what this discussion is going to morph into where I think the money is starting to go, or where the smart money should go in when you invest short-term, long-term, or if you just want to make the best bang for your buck and not get kind of crushed with reprints. And it's a little bit weird with reprints because Wizards of the Coast is so crazy with their policy of when things get reprinted, when things don't get reprinted. There seems to be no rhyme or reason. I think I'm going to talk more in depth on my Rogue Deck Builder channel for Market Monday. That'll probably come out Wednesday now. I try to get out on Monday, but typically things are so busy. Anyway, we're getting into it here on this video, where this particular product, though, and products similar to it, I'm looking at all will be one bundles that never got a reprint. I'm looking at things like Kamigawa bundles, and then comparing it to play boosters, draft boosters, collector boosters. And in my opinion, this might be the new move for people who are looking to get in long-term for Magic the Gathering, is to, I guess, zig when other people zag, or just look for these particular opportunities, and there's still money to be had in Magic the Gathering. Now, it's been frustrating for the past few years with Magic the Gathering because it seemed like almost every product was such a dud. But now we're starting to see some health again. Typically, you can buy at distributor cost and even sell on TCG Player now and make a profit. So there's room for stores to unload their excess inventory at an actual profit. That was what used to be so awesome for running a TCG Player store, is you never had to worry about just breaking even or even making a slight profit for your efforts. And when the products were good, they were great. And then we went through that sluggish year, and I know I've talked like it nonstop on this channel, my other channels, of how horrible the last couple of years have been, where 1 out of 10 products would be a winner, and the other 9 out of 10 products would just be an absolute disaster, because even products like these starter kits would be completely printed into the ground by Wizards of the Coast. And we're starting to see either a policy change, or maybe the market's a lot hotter than we thought. But if it was such a hot market, you would see it across the board. And we're still seeing some very sluggish sales from things like Murders of Karlov Manor, and a lot of the play boosters even now from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, where there hasn't been a lot of movement, or and they should reasonably stay at market price. We're in their standard livelihood. I'm not arguing against that, but even things like Commander Masters, Modern Horizons 3, those typically in years in the past would already start to see gains at this point, and they're not. So all of those products, in my opinion, were printed very, very heavily, and the things that weren't, like the bundles, pre-release kits, and starter kits, man, there are some massive gains in short periods of times for these. So anyway, before I start rambling, let's talk about the actual data here. So I got Bloomburrow pulled up here. A Bloomburrow starter kit, if you were to buy one, the cheapest one you're able to get right now would be $35 from the TCG Player. So if you can see, just a few days ago, if we look at the 1 month range, a few days ago they were selling all day for $20, including shipping. So this includes the shipping price in it when you look at this with TCG Player. So the cheapest way, again, you can get it is $34 right now on TCG Player. So that is a huge increase within the past couple of days, and the main reason is the cat was kind of out of the bag for the prices on these cards. So if you look at this Selesnya deck, there's the Byrrc Long Ear of Law that sells for about $7. And if you actually click on it, what I like about going over here on TCG Player is it gives you all the data, and so you know it's not like a fluke of just like heavy listers. These suckers sell. So if we look at the data of the snapshots today, even there's a full page of ones that have sold for over, I bet this one for $4.50 had heavy shipping on it. So we'll say, yeah, $5.50 is the average price, is the market price, is what these suckers have been selling for. And many of them have sold within, I mean, 740 sold. I'd like this new snapshot they have with TCG Players. It gives you some real data here. And average daily sold 8 per day. This is good on these, so you can consistently or you can rely on this if you were going to go this arbitrage route to open these up and then actually flip them for a profit. So I believe the original cost for these starter decks at distribution was around 10 to in the $10 to $15 range. I don't have the there's a lot of like factors that come into play. There are certain distributors that charge a credit card fee. There are certain distributors that charge a shipping fee. Now, this is actually very important for this particular product because if they ship me a box of like 12 of them and then charge me $5 shipping, that's actually going to have a higher percentage than taking that, distributor credit card fee or handling fee or whatever a lot of them charge. So there's a lot of factors that's why it's hard for me to give you an exact price, but I believe these were around, let's say, $12 was the going rate for these starter kits. So I'm thinking these were supposed to be sold for what, $20 at. It's so weird with them taking away MSRP of then trying to gauge of what products should sell for with the 40 to 50% markups. But I'm going to say $12 for a baseline of this. And when you have a few cards in here, we just look at the Celestia deck right there with the $6 card. But then we go down to the Is It one. There's a $20 card in this deck with the Brea Riptide Rogue. And same thing, if we actually look at the sales data for Brea and look at how many this sucker sells, it gives you a clearer picture that this is a card that is very, very sought after. So average sell per day is 10, and you can see all day long they have been selling for between $17 and $18 today for this particular card. So that is crazy about a card that is contained. Now, typically these suckers don't. I think this is exclusive. I believe you can get these out of collector boosters, which might be showing, but I don't know if. I thought the whole policy of collector boosters was you could get anything that was printed out of the commander sets. Anything in the Bloomburrow, we'll call it IP, could be contained in collector boosters. So does it have a non-foil? No, it does only have the foil printing. So I'm not sure if these were contained in collectors or boosters or not, which is, again, different than in the past when these suckers were contained in like collectors. So correct me if I'm wrong, and this might be the only way to get this card is out of the starter kit. So again, that shows a policy change. And I'm not sure if I like this. I know Pokemon did this as well to try to sell these particular products as a kind of guarantee sales because a collector then has to buy that sealed product to get that particular card. But this one actually ended up being a card that people did want. And again, I believe this is standard playable, which is, again, another policy change from where they have everything in play boosters that you're supposed to. It's so wonky right now with Wizard of the Coast. I would even like them to try to balance standard to even include anything that's in a commander set, because I get people that buy a collector's booster and think they can play those cards, or you get things that are in those special guest slots and they think they can play them in standard and you can't. I wish, man, if they're going to reprint something in a pack. But anyway, I digress. I'm getting out into an entire different train of thought here. Back to the arbitrage part of this video, though. This is a quite interesting move. We've seen this happen in the past, but for a long time, there were either so many people doing this arbitrage game and so much supply out there that it would be just a snap of the fingers and this would no longer be an opportunity for it to happen. And there were some, I'm not going to say these past 2 years have been all doom and gloom, because there have been some of these sort of opportunities, mainly due to the fact when distributors dumped out products at under distribution cost, and there'd be just a few products that for whatever reasons weren't selling as the sealed, but people wanted the cards out of them. But seeing this very consistently is kind of a cool little feeling again, because we're back in this mode where I think that if you're more savvy of checking prices and knowing the market, you're going to have a huge edge over the people that are just, as I mentioned in my Gone Rogue Games video, of people that just are what I call emotionless cash flow businesses, where they're just going to buy X amount of every product. They're going to wash it as quick as possible on TCG Player and eBay. And, they're not even going to check price. They're just literally do zero research, click market price, sell everything, move on to the next product. That sort of business, of course, is still something that can happen. You want to put in the elbow grease, those type of businesses work. However, I think that now the advantage is going away from those and going to the people that want to take the time to research and figure out the products that do have these little outliers. Because who would have thought the starter decks would have been the big investment, the one that would have paid off from a set that's just as soon as Bloomburrow. Now, I want to give everyone a warning. Wizards of the Coast is a very greedy company when it comes to reprinting things. If they have people checking this too, I would not be surprised if they're like, okay, well, we need to reprint starter decks, obviously. This already happened with some precedents. This happened with Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings starter decks had, in a time, arbitrage was massive. And it did get another print wave of those starter kits. And I believe that Lord of the Rings starter kits are back in print. So there has been another wave of them. When I say print, another reprint, I don't want to argue semantics with people. Whether it's another wave from a batch that existed in whatever warehousing distribution change Wizard of the Coast has versus an actual, okay, let's send it to the printers. I'm not sure that it really matters in this context because it's still supply that was not in the traditional distribution route that now is in the distribution route. So when I say in other waves, that's just kind of been occurring with these Lord of the Ring restocks. So before I move on to this, that is another thing that I'm going to have to get into a topic about is Universes Beyond is looking very, very, I don't know if toxic's the right word to say, but little heads up, Lord of the Rings set boosters and commander decks are getting another, again, we'll use the quotations, print wave or another resupply back into distributions. And I think that the Universes Beyond is going to be handled a little bit differently than like the standard life cycle. I think they're going to milk those suckers until there's no milking to be had out of those Universes Beyond. So I'd be very, very careful with those particular products too. Things like Lord of the Ring bundles. I wouldn't be surprised if there's another reprint wave of those around the holidays. I mean, holiday box sets, anything holiday related with Lord of the Rings. And then a big warning with these type of stuff is I don't think you should go out and pay hefty prices. Like even at buying off of, like right now, there's not arbitrage opportunity by buying from TC Player and selling on TC Player the cards. Because if you add, 18 plus $6, you're at what, $24? It costs you $35 to get a starter kit. Okay, no more arbitrage. But if you can still get these from distribution, or if they're still at your Targets for $20, or your Walmarts for $20, or if your LGSs still have them listed at $20, then there still is some opportunity for a quick flip for the Bloomburrow starter decks. Now, I'm going to give a little of incentive and a little bit of a thank you to all of my patrons, who one of my patrons actually pointed out, I should actually give, whoever the patron was that pointed this out to me, I'm going to give you another starter kit rather than, so I was able to find a distributor that had 37 of these left, and I snapped them up, and I believe it cost me around $12 each of these. And so I snapped them up, so I do have a limited supply of these. I'm going to do one per patron. You can go ahead and order these for, let's just say $15. And you can get a starter kit if you've been waiting for one. If you just want to flip it, I mean, right now, even at that point, you make a couple bucks going this route. And if you want to just have some fun with this sort of arbitrage and kind of get your hands dirty in it, definitely message me, and I do have these available for patrons. So again, I appreciate everyone when they do give me these heads up and tips, and then I can run the numbers and actually look into them and try to figure out what's going on. But I would really, really caution everyone to really going crazy on these suckers. This is something that if I were able to get my hands on this product, I would flip it immediately, because historically speaking, Wizards of the Coast has more than often made more of these available in the supply rather than just let them run rampant. Because we actually look at like the trends of where we're going, like they're $30 right now, they're going to be $50 in a month if they weren't. I mean, there's actually low supply here on TCG Player in the scope of things before we get to any real substantial amount of inventory, like less than 4. Like the biggest seller here is at 13. And so we're under like 100 copies on TCG Player, and they're selling 17 per day. Yeah, that's crazy. These suckers would go up very quickly. But again, this is something that would be, yes, great opportunity, but I want to give everyone a warning that Wizards of the Coast is someone that reprints and reprints and reprints and reprints and reprints. I've seen a lot of people lose their but it's crazy too, because even sometimes some of these subsequent reprint waves, like the Ixalan Commanders, those suckers are starting to recover now. So anyway, I should probably head over to the other channel and do a bigger deep dive of what products I think are actually good to start moving money into or holding on to if you want to play that sort of game. Whereas like play boosters and collector boosters, it's crazy because collector boosters are far and away the best way to crack for singles and have those singles actually be worth something down the road or have any sort of value in those. But collector boosters set after set after set with a few exceptions when you have like, $3,000 mana crypts you can get out of them. So besides these super lottery like gambling type sets that collectors have, besides those ones, if you look at all of the collectors, man, they are not aging well compared to bundles and pre-release kits. So that'll be a topic. I don't know if I'll get it out today on the Rogue Deck Builder. Maybe it'll be a Market Wednesday at that point. But I thought I'd just do this video and give you a heads up about this market. You'll probably start seeing a lot more videos from me, because this is when I find things interesting. Like, I'm one of those creators that I probably should be doing daily videos just because of my job, to keep people entertained and to keep the channel kind of consistent. But I really I struggle. My personality type really struggles with creating things without any sort of inspiration or any sort of excitement. And so now the markets with Pokemon, Magic, even Lorcana, with these massive ebbs and flows, like, I actually love this environment more than anything. I like the bear bowl is where I like with markets. I don't like a bull or a bear where, everything's wonderful, and at that point a lot of times supply chains get messed up and you can't even buy anything anyway. So it's nice that you can sell things, but there's no supply to actually sell it. And of course, bear markets are completely awful because, it's just one disaster after disaster of losing money. So these type of ebb and flow bear bulls that we're in right now, some products being stinky, some products being just off the charts wonderful. This is exciting for me, and it becomes like a game to where I can pick it apart and see, okay, what's the reasoning for this particular product going up and this one staying stagnant? How can we get some sort of information on these numbers and really grind this out to what could be the next one going forward that's going to actually sell for a lot? So again, hopefully you can expect more of these type of videos, and we can do it with the singles market too. I've been so frustrated with the singles market because, man, the reprints are just out of control. It just seems that Wizard of the Coast is reprint. Every time I think there's no way they can keep up with reprints, they do a hold my beer, and then you watch another $20 card go down to 50 cents. So anyway, I'm really starting to ramble. It is late here tonight, but if you are a patron, reach out to me. I do hopefully have enough for people that want to have a starter kit, and I'll try to find more ways to give back to everyone that has supported this channel and been a part of what we're going on. Anyway, thanks for watching.